All right, thank you for staying with us. It's still sports tonight. Before we went on break, we were discussing the politics of CAF, the CAF elections coming up in a few days from now. And I remember also at the beginning of the show, we spoke about UEFA Champions League games for this week, but we've been corrected by our producer. He says there are no games in the UEFA Champions League this week, so no games tomorrow, no games on Wednesday. And I think the games will resume in March. Yeah. All right, so the games will resume in March. So there's still a lot of time for Yemi and Co to prepare, to turn things around when they face Bayern Munich. We wish you guys the best of luck as you prepare. An extra week for you to really cross the T's, dot the I's, and get your team ready.
They've been well rested. Didn't play this weekend. And a lot of things happen in football. You know. It's looking like a dead rubber, I have to be honest.
Impossible is nothing.
But impossible is not.
Impossible is not. Anything can happen. Even for Barcelona, 4-0 from the first leg, they will also be hoping that things can turn around. But we're discussing the CAF elections, and we're talking about the meeting of Honorable Sports Minister Solomon Dalong with the NFF. I don't really know. I like to give the minister the benefit of the doubt. A lot of things have been said on social media that he wants to tell the NFF Executive Committee who to vote for or the position of government. I don't think so. Maybe he just wants clarification on how they want to go about it and all of that.
Tony, what manner of clarification are you talking about? The minister is always putting...
We shouldn't even be reading about that.
The minister is always putting the cart before the horse. It should be the horse, then the cart will follow. You don't
how is it putting?
You issue a press statement condemning. You have to, meet with the NFF Executive Committee first. Some of these issues will be handled discreetly. That's why we like to hitting up the polity.
That's the word I was going to use. Why do we always want to hit up the polity?
Just one vote. One vote.
But it's a Nigerian vote.
Yeah, the Nigerian vote, but it can be handled more discreetly.
And I don't see other countries making all these kind of noises. And I'm very careful with my words, like I told him. Sometimes I really want to clarify, is it the federal government's position or the sports minister's position? Now, you can express your opinion. You can express your displeasure at the actions of certain individuals. We don't have to start reading about all of that in the newspapers. Now, in other countries, everybody knows who's saddled with who has a voting right.
I was going to come to that. In issues like this, if you want to be briefed, if the government wants to be briefed, the government will get that briefing from the Nigerian Football Federation because they are the ones saddled with the responsibility of taking those kind of decisions for us. So you get the kind of briefing that you need about the CAF elections from the NFF Executive Committee. You understand? And you will rely or trust their judgment because they are there in trust for the people. That's my thinking.
And they don't derive their powers from you to do that in any way. If it is powers that maybe you handed over to them, that you can ask and say, come and explain to me why you do this. They have been entrusted with such responsibilities. But because they are Nigerians, you have a right to say, why are you doing this? And that's I love the way the South Africans have districtly handled their issues when the CAF president came, the position they had before the CAF.
And the CAF statement said that the South African government was going to support them.
And at every step, when it looked as if there was going to be a confusion between Fikile Mbalula, the Safa, they just went out, and they sorted their issues, and it was clean. And, when you start reading, the other thing we pointed out about some Nigerians...
that's another critical issue.
In the court of public opinion, you will be thinking that, we're talking about just one vote, like you pointed out. You'll be thinking that at the end of the day, Nigeria has...
more than one vote. No, but that's another issue. These Nigerians are respected. These Nigerians have been in CAF, some of them for so long. And we can't...
A lot of people can question what we have benefited from their presence there. A lot of people can question that. That's on one side.
Okay. Well, that's another issue. Well, but then they have been there long enough, and I think sometimes what they say, we can't just wave off.
So yeah, I don't think we want to dwell on how long this gentleman and lady have spent in CAF. But reading through their press release, I was scandalized. When they started reeling out the achievements of Alhaji Issa Hayatu.
What did they say?
That his reign has brought so much development to Africa and Nigeria. I don't know where where they got that from. So that part of the release, betrayed their motive.
Yeah.
that perhaps they want to remain there forever. You know, so what has Alhaji said? I mean, we have said it here.
I have defended
Africa has not. I mean, he has done his best, but it appears that his best is not good enough. We need to move to the next level. We want
I don't want us to have the argument again about whether his best is good enough or is not good enough, because we had it the last time, and I said, look.
The way you can look at this is...
Yeah, but I agree with
without judging this ayat, the way you can look at it is anybody satisfied with what is currently happening in CAF? Is anybody satisfied compared to other associations, under continental associations, under FIFA? Is everybody satisfied with the level CAF is? If your answer is no, you wouldn't say that the people that are in charge now should remain there. That would be one. Then if you look at what has happened elsewhere, UEFA, somebody out of the blues that you didn't see coming, is now the UEFA president. All other federations, everybody is embracing change. Not just for the name of change. I mean...
Positive change.
Positive change. And like you said, I mean, it's hard to judge a man and say, my own issue is not that you did well, you didn't do well. The issue is, there comes a time where there has to be a change.
You have to take a bow.
28 years in office.
There just comes a time where we can go on and on about what Nigeria has benefited, although you know where I stand on that anyway. But for me, if you compare other, I mean, let's not talk about UEFA. Let's talk about other areas where they're trying to sanitize the system, create systems that can work, create a system where it doesn't matter the individual that is in charge, because there are structures that can make things work. And for me, you know, that is why I would say is my opinion anyway.
Let me give you my own thinking. This is just my own opinion, and it may change. I feel there's a lot more to it than just the CAF elections and the minister. The minister has always, I mean, obviously demonstrated that he doesn't really understand what we are going to do in CAF. He's always questioned why are you going to CAF and all of that. So that's
on one side.
On one side, it's pretty obvious. He's not too comfortable with this. But in the last couple of years, Amadou Pinnick, NFF president, has brought FIFA president to Nigeria. It is not a mean feat. He's been appointed into a very powerful committee in FIFA. Obviously, is making inroads in international football politics at the CAF, at the FIFA level. And you remember, CAF came out openly and said to his face, because he was in Rwanda campaigning for votes, when CAF said to his face, we are not going to vote for you.
We're going to vote for Khalifa.
But right there, some members of CAF said, look, we are not going to have a block vote. Some of us are still going to vote the way we want to vote.
And eventually happened that way.
And I think from there, he must have seen that, look, there are some guys here who I'll be able to work with for the future. So clearly, that has also played a role in all of this. So Amadou and his inroads at the FIFA level and trying to also make inroads into CAF is on one side. And then those who are in CAF and the Nigerians in CAF committees, of course, wanting the status quo to continue on the other side. That, for me, are the interplay that we have around these elections.
So, yeah, I don't have any problem with people wanting to stay in CAF forever. But, you see, like the South Africans have done, when your personal interest, clashes with national interest, you must surrender to the national interest. And you have, like we have said, this the current president of Nigerian Football Federation is making inroads. Why don't we support him for the sake of national interest? Not because of the personality.
How do you define national interest from personal interest now?
Yeah, if we have an opportunity of somebody getting to that level, do we now, because of parochial interest, derail that person? When he gets there, is he not going to be in the interest of Nigeria? When last did we have somebody in that exalted position of the FIFA Executive Committee?
No, it's CAF first.
I mean,
we had the Amos
Yeah.
And interestingly, I know the story of how Amos Adamu got there. He got there without anybody's support. He didn't get government support. At that time, late Ishaya Makako was the Minister of Sports, and he didn't see Adamu eye to eye at all. They were not on the same page. He did it on his own. Nobody gave him any support. It was DG, National Sports Commission. He had some powers. It was just a few guys who believed he was very powerful that gave him the support. He didn't. Government didn't help. He was already won the ticket. That government came and said, oh, we congratulate you. So he did this on his own.
So in football, politics is for football people. I mean, the government is for,
I stand to be corrected.
it's for football people. Because when you travel, you are going to meet with football people. You are going to sell, your agenda, your aspiration. Politicians don't have, that kind of time to meet with football people. So, I mean, what are we talking about? We have to support this person. If he has the structure, if he has made inroads, if he has met people, across the globe, then we don't need to waste the investment he has made. So for me, I don't see from the point of view of maybe anybody's position in CAF is threatened. If we support him and eventually he gets there, or God forbid he doesn't get there, I mean, he has tried his best. It doesn't mean
it's not do or die.
It's not do or die. So
all this drama is, my point is, all this drama is avoidable.
Unnecessary.
We don't need this. It could have been better handled. That's where I stand. The debate as to what have we gained, that will always remain. Do we want to align regionally, or we want to go with,
Which one is regional alignment? Because the two candidates are not from our region.
No. Well,
the Ayatu is Central Africa. The Ahmad Ahmad is Southern Africa. So none of them is from our region.
You just painted a picture about a man who emerged and who has seen some people that probably might work with him, talking about Infantino, and probably is being fingered as to be wanting a particular direction, talking about the CAF presidency. So that's where I stand when I say, do we want to align with that thinking, which looks to be outside of CAF, or stay within CAF and allow Issa Hayatu's reign continue, even though I don't want to get into the debate of whether or not we have profited from it or not.
All right, please talk to us about this. We'd like to hear your thoughts around all that is playing out. The sports minister meeting with the NFF Executive Committee tomorrow. What do you expect that meeting will produce? And are you in support of the direction of the NFF?
So the sports minister should also tell us when the next sports festival will be held.
The next sports festival?
Yes.
Which one? The 2014 own?
The
or
one
the 2016 own?
The one that has not been held, since.
Because we are talking about 3 sports festivals now. 2014.
They can start from somewhere.
2014 has not been held.
It was 2012.
There's supposed to be another one in 2016. No discussion around it.
Let's not talk about that one.
They are supposed to be planning for another one next year.
They should call for an emergency meeting for the National Sports Festival.
But I can tell you what will happen tomorrow. We're going to get a lot of fancy headlines. Usually that's what happens after all these meetings. A lot of fancy headlines. I'm very sure they're going to come out of that meeting not agreeing on a particular position to take. I mean, you can take that to the bank. Whether or not that is good for us, it's not even good. Let's leave this aside. I think we've done enough of discussions around the CAF politics, but we will read your thoughts when you send them to us. Let me read a few comments on Twitter. Hilary Indimele says it will be dream come true to see the National Stadium fully back on stream. It says work should commence at once. Well, what they'll be doing on Wednesday is on-the-spot assessment to find out which of the structures is compromised and what needs to be done. So let's see how they progress from there. But it will be fantastic to see football return to the sports city. Emmanuel Oyekumbi says the National Stadium should be converted to soccer-only stadium. I don't think I agree with that. But it all depends on whatever the Lagos State government wants to do with it. The tracks should be gotten rid of since TBS is just opposite. Maybe you move other sports to TBS and make National Stadium football only. That's what Emmanuel Oyekumbi is saying. Churchman Duza says, I want to give big kudos to the Minister of Sports and the Lagos State government for wanting to revitalize the National Stadium. All right, that's an interesting one. Rotimi Oduniyi, a good friend from Ogun State, says the Ogun State is ready to rescue Nigeria by hosting the National Sports Festival. Which one? 2014? Or the 2016, or the next one. Or the next one. Which one are you talking about? It says we have the facilities. We have 4 standard stadia, amongst others. I agree with him. One of the best national sports festivals ever organized was Gateway 2006. Yeah. Gateway. It was on time. The day they announced they were going to start, they started. They ended. They announced the profit. It was.
And there was huge private sector involvement.
Huge. Benga Daniel.
I was privileged to attend. I think Jebo, they said that it was well organized.
All right. Okay, so I think we'll pause there for a while. We'll go on a break. When we return from the break, we will allow Yemi Adebayo take the back seat. We'll be walking behind the scene. Toby Adepoju will be joining us. We'll be talking about the Super Eagles, the friendlies against Burkina Faso and Senegal, and of course the Nigeria Professional Football League. Join us again.